Back on Imus in the Morning, Connell McShane filling in for the I-Man this week, joined by Peter Kiernan, who's written a couple of books. He's become a regular here on the program that have gone on to be bestsellers. Becoming China's Bitch and 9 More Catastrophes We Must Avoid Right Now was one, and the other, American Mojo, Lost and Found. And they both kind of look at somewhat similar themes, just basically how we've ignored our issues, our problems as a country, and now we've got to, well, we'd like to start dealing with some of them. But anyway, good morning, Peter. Thanks again for joining us.
Oh, so great to be with you.
Now, you... I know that you're on TV a lot, and you've been coming on with us a lot, and you've got the books. But years ago, you were a Wall Street guy. You're a Goldman Sachs guy. And what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy more?
Oh, there's no question that Wall Street is a great thing to have in the rearview mirror. I was on Wall Street about the time that Burr shot Hamilton. I would say this: that we have seen such a dramatic turn in the way that we elect and evaluate candidates that there just can't be a more exhilarating thing to be doing right now than looking at this kind of thing.
Now, Goldman, a lot of people have gone on there from there, and obviously back in the day, I don't think it was as far back as you tell us it was, but people made a lot of money there and then went on to do other things, not necessarily exactly what you're doing, but, elected office if you're John Corzine or, Rubin as Treasury Secretary, and on down the list goes to Hank Paulson. Was there something about that firm at Goldman Sachs that was, everybody sitting around talking politics all day, or what was the deal there?
Oh, I think that the way the place ran was that if you think about the world, there are 10,000 people probably who run the world. And those 10,000 people come from a whole range. Some are political, some are religious, some are medical, some are academic. And I think the position of the firm way back then was to try and know and have relationships with as many of those 10,000 people as you can. And because if you do, you're going to be in the center of things.
Is that made up, by the way, or based on some sort of analysis? I for some reason find that really interesting. How many people are in the world versus how many people are involved in running it? 10,000.
Well, I wouldn't subject anything I say to rigorous analysis, Connell. I'm basically doing the best I can. But I would say this. There are a handful of people who are highly influential in this country and around the world. And just to give you one number that we used to talk about, and it's kind of staggering, but there are about 80 people in the world, 80 individuals, who own more than most everybody else. So most of the assets are owned by 80 people. So you could practically fit them in your studio.
How much is that the bottom person in that group worth? Billions, right?
Billions. Oh, yes.
So 80.
But the point is that what you've had is
amazing,
over the course of the last 20 years, an incredible concentration of wealth and influence. And so what you're seeing as a result in virtually every country in the world, but certainly in the United States, the resurgence of grassroots initiatives because people are feeling left out. It's a selectorate, not an electorate. And so it's not just in the United States.
No, it's the UK.
Very much what's going behind Brexit.
Right.
But you're seeing people saying, we don't like being left out of the decision.
Now, in the
we don't like being outside the room when the big decisions are made.
In the United Kingdom, when they made that decision, it was a vote, a referendum to leave the European Union. And we said, well, why do we care about this? If you got into it, it really was fascinating because people in, say, London, which would be like people here in New York, they were saying, well, no, we don't want to leave there. This is great. I mean, we're making a lot of money, and the globalism, whatever name you want to put on it, has been great to us. We have high quality products at cheaper prices, and we're able to make more money in the trade we're doing. And other people, you just get outside and go to northern England the same way you'd go out to the middle of this country, and they're, what the hell? This is not, and we're not benefiting from this at all. Our life, what are people talking about? I mean, and they were really angry about it, and that's the same thing here. Is a bunch of people, and it's not just, I mean, you don't have to, by the way, go to the middle of the country. If you just talk here in New York and talk to a bunch of people that are down on Wall Street or working in a number of industries that are doing well, they say this is great. And then you could just go out to a suburb, as Donald Trump, I think, found when he was in Bethpage on Long Island. And you have people who feel that way, who feel like it hasn't been fair to them, that they got screwed over.
Well, one of the things you're saying, it was very fortunate because I was on this show and others, by talking to people out in the countryside and outside of London, you did get a very clear sense that Brexit was highly likely to happen. And one of the things I kept saying to the folks on Wall Street is, you're measuring profit, not principle. And you have to listen. The theme, that's going on here in the UK and certainly the United States is there's a disconnect. Leaders are not listening to the people. And you see an awful lot of people who have voted for Donald Trump,